You hear that? This is the sound of Indian Creek River at Indian Creek River Campground in Cherokee, North Carolina. We have never stayed at this campground before, so this is our first experience at this campground, which I have to say it has been awesome. We usually are at state parks, we do a few private parks, and this park has exceeded all of our expectations. On this weekend video, we're going to talk about what we've really enjoyed about this park and why this park has been a lot of fun for us and the kids, and that sometimes going to a new park is just worth trying something new. And the water is really cold. This week we are at Indian Creek Campground at site number 54. This has been an awesome site. It's right here on the creek. And as you can hear, the water just goes all the time. And so you kind of have this weird feeling that it's going to stop like a sound machine, but it just doesn't stop. So you have a constant sound of the river. And right now there's a lot of water, so it's pretty loud. So let's do a quick tour of this tent site number 54 at Indian Creek Campground. All right, so this is camp spot number 64, and as you can come in and see, it's a huge spot. There are some people right over here. Not a big deal. There's kind of all their stuff's on the other side of those tents. And then we have a little bit of a downhill, but then our tent is right here next to the river, and it's very flat. But as you can see, it's a big area. Very private. There's some trees between us and the people next door. And there we have our wood, and here we have the river, or the creek, that goes right up alongside. And you have your fire pit right there. So as you can see, we have our tent, we have our picnic table, we have our chairs, our stove, everything right here. And we're pretty private from everybody else. This is my Anker power thing that works amazing. So if you ever need a power thing, works really well. Has a little light on it. But so here's our spot for this week, number 63, and it comes out to the main road right here, as you can see. And I think this road keeps going that way, and might be some houses at the end of the road, but then if you go this way, the bathroom is right down there, and it's not too far. But there is spot number 64. You can tell that they really care at this park, which has been fascinating because everything really is in pretty good shape. And you know, parks, stuff gets used and abused because people are coming in all the time, but the bathrooms were some of the cleanest bathrooms that we've ever seen and used. They looked like they were recently painted, and you could tell that they put pride into that, and so that makes the rest of the campground just feel clean and useful. One of the biggest things about this camp is obviously the fishing. There was a fishing tournament this weekend. If you get spots along the other creek, you can fish. This creek does not allow fishing, but you can still go in the water. It's 65 degrees, so it's very cold water. But if you sit in it, you'll warm up. The kids went in it this morning, wasn't a big deal. You know, they sat in it and then laid down in it for a few seconds. It was pretty fun for them, but it was cold. This is Bunches Creek, and this is where the trout are stocked. And this weekend we've seen quite a few people be able to catch some fish right here in the creek. So it goes along the campground on the side, and there's a bunch of people catching fish through here. It's pretty loud, lots of rocks. Like I said, I don't know if this is high or low, but there's a good amount of water flowing through it right now. But this right here is Bunches Creek at Indian Creek Campground. The bottom campground on the other side of the road near Bunches Creek. You see there's still a lot of trees, probably a little more open with all the spots, but they're still right along the water, and this is where people fish from. But it looks really nice. A lot of maintenance, cleaning up the fire pits, and even raking the rocks back where they go. So very impressed. So these are some of the spots, 6, 7, 8. There's 2 8s and 9. Not exactly sure why there's 2 8s. But if you're camping here, you have power and water, and you're right up along the creek, and you could fish right from your back of your campsite, which is really cool. So these are the spots down by the creek. The rest of them are kind of about the same. You know, they're fairly close to each other, but it's not terrible. But the benefit is you're right on the creek, and you could just fish from your spot. We are here on Father's Day weekend, so it is packed. And they said, you know, there's a lot of people, but they'll do their best to keep it quiet. But honestly, it's been calming and relaxing the whole time. One of the benefits of the river is that it's just almost so loud that you don't hear anybody. We had people next to us on one side, and they had a baby, which is awesome. We take our kids camping, so I have no problem with that. But you couldn't hear things. So like, even if, you know, when a baby's sad, that happens, the water just kind of drowned anything away. So I guess if you had a bear, you wouldn't hear it coming, and then it would get into your stuff. But speaking of that, one of the cool things about this park is they will come around to pick up your trash. I think about 2 or 3 times a day. It's written on the information sheet that they give you, but it keeps the bears, keeps everything nice and clean. There is a trash can that you can take stuff to during the day. And with the fishing, you have to have a fishing license, but they sell those in the camp office. And so we saw a couple people buying their fishing license, so you want to make sure you do that. They do stock the other river, so the fishing license probably goes to help all that. And there's a limit on how many you can take, and you don't want to take too many also, because a lot of people come here to go fishing. So my little PSA, if people start taking too many fish, the people that come to fish, like my kids or something, we didn't fish this weekend, but if kids come to fish and there's no fish, you know, it ruins their weekend. So make sure you follow those rules like always. They do not want you cleaning your fish at your campsite, which makes sense. They have a nice area for you to clean your fish, couple 3 bin sinks, and then you bag all your stuff up there and throw the fish pieces in the trash can. And we've seen people walking all over the place with fish, so there's definitely good fishing. We did also get a lot of firewood, so it wasn't too bad. For 25 bucks, they delivered all of this wood I have right here. We've already burned some of it, but you can see there's quite a bit of wood here. And they delivered it to our campsite, and they delivered it pretty quick. We got here about 8:30 at night. Normally they close about 8 o'clock and you have to come in the morning to sign in. But because of the weekend and they had all the people, the guy was still there at 8:30, which he said normally he's not, but it worked out for us. And check-in process was awesome. It was easy. They gave us all the information we needed, let us buy the firewood, went over the rules. If you have dogs, make sure you keep them on a leash, just because even if you have a nice dog, you never know what they're gonna do. We've enjoyed the playground. We've enjoyed just relaxing at our campsite. You know, different campgrounds have different things to do, and this one definitely is on the calmer and quiet side, and they are proud of that. You can tell because they made that a big deal when we came in, and we haven't seen any issues. And being a busy weekend, it's been great. This is one of the most stocked private campground stores I've ever seen. They had a cold section, they had drinks, they had camping supplies, they had propane, they had clothes, they had cotton candy, they had drinks, they had ice cream. Basically, they had hot dogs, milk, chocolate milk. I've been to a lot of camp stores. Sometimes there's a little bit, sometimes there's nothing, and this one absolutely was packed. Of the campground are a little bit more secluded, I think. There's no power or electricity on this road. Pretty quiet through here. I know some of the other spots are a little bit more busy, it looks like. They do have some cabins that just have beds in them. They have some fully furnished cabins, which are nice. You know, those cost a little bit more. We paid a very fair price. I don't remember what we paid right here, but it was cheaper than a state park, which is what we've started to look at, because state parks have gotten really expensive recently. So if you're someone who camps a lot and you know the state parks, especially in this southeast region, North Carolina, South Carolina, they have really taken off. And so this is Cherokee, North Carolina. So let's go for a walk and let's check out some of the spots that are empty. A few of the spots probably had no shows. I don't know if they were rented or not. They said everything was pretty much rented. So we are people coming in at Saturday afternoon right now. And so, but let's go look, see if any spots are empty, and we'll just do a little tour of what we can find around here. Here's spot 61. The water's down there. And on the other side is spot 62 that has a path. It's a really big spot. 62 that has a path down to the creek right here. It's not as loud of the water at the campsite, but you can still see it all right here. This is spot A, which is right next to the bathroom. There's the cabins over there and the bathroom right there, but it's right here, and you've got a fire pit and a picnic table. But this one's right on the water too. So if you want to be next to the bathroom and next to this loud, awesome creek, this is a great spot. So 50, 51, 52, just cross this bridge. And this was that spot I saw on the other side. I don't know what number it is. J. But look at this. This is pretty secluded. Right here. You've got a fire pit, campsite, short little walk. You can't drive to it. And then you're right here on the water. There's a little dam. Check that out. This is a cool little spot. I would camp right here. And all these sites are pretty flat. You could easily fit a tent back here. So this looks like spot J. Just right here on the side of the hill. And this weekend for food, we didn't really eat anything Friday night when we got here. We got here a little bit later, so we ate before we left. For breakfast on Saturday morning, we had pancakes. For lunch, we had some eggs. And for supper, we're having a boxed meal with chicken Alfredo, which we find to be just really easy on trips like this, because all you need to bring is chicken. Pour in some milk, cook the chicken, pour in some milk, add the spices, and you've got a whole meal pretty quick that you can make on the stove or on the fire if that's all you've got. And then we have some cereal that we'll have Sunday morning and some sandwiches. You know, it's another 2-night weekend for us, so we didn't really do too much for food. We didn't get too exotic. Sometimes on our longer trips, you try to do something new. But this weekend we went with the basics, and we have lots of hot chocolate. When I got this toaster off Amazon, I really wasn't sure what to think about it, but this thing has been awesome. As you can see, it toasts the bread right here. Really nice. Some corners will be hotter than the others, so you do got to move it around, watch it a little bit. But you can slide it over like that. Flip it over once it gets toasted on that side. But I'm going to put some toast on this before we head home today. One thing that can be really cool or really nice is there is 0 cell phone service out here. We don't have any of our cell phone working. However, there is Wi-Fi working, and the Wi-Fi that works has been amazing. I did do a speed test. It's like 14 upload something. I'll put it on the screen. But for all the people that are here on this weekend and everywhere we've been, we have really good signal, and it has worked really well. So their IT department, they're spending some good money on making sure that their Wi-Fi works everywhere out here. In the world we're in now, where people will come out here and actually do work, that's very useful. And I know some people don't like to have all that stuff, but people need to have it, so that's good to have. What was your favorite part of Indian Creek Campground?
My favorite parts of Indian Creek Campground is the river and the noise it makes at night. I like the noise of the river, and I sleep very well. And the last thing is the new addition, the playground. Me and my brother love going down there and playing.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time either in the creek or at the playground. All right, now we're going to go to some oceans and some lakes. See you next time.